What's up, soldiers? Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. It is lunchtime, your boy belly banging, which means I'm hungry. I found some leftover rice in the fridge. Lately, I've been doing a whole bunch of these Tupperware thing in the fridge. So leftover rice, if you want to boil some rice, you can do it too. We are going to go out to the garden. We're going to harvest some vegetables, and we are doing a garden vegetable fried rice. Meat-free Mondays. You're going to love this one, man. Stay tuned. Alright? Yeah, I'm in the backyard again looking for inspiration for this garden vegetable fried rice, and I'm thinking some of this kale, some of that Swiss chard, maybe some okra. Got tons of okra on there. You're gonna grab some of that and some of that yard bean that you're seeing in the background there, just on the wire. You're gonna grab some of that. We've got some okra or okra. And I'm just giving everything a rinse. I've got some chili peppers, and those are really mild. They're not as strong, not as fiery as Scotch bonnet peppers. If you wanted to use Scotch bonnet peppers, you can certainly do that. We've got that yard bean or bodi. This here is the kale, and I'm really going to wash this thoroughly. So we got 2 leaves of kale, and you can adjust this. If you want more vegetables in it, you can certainly do that. And here we've got the Swiss chard. It's a beautiful Swiss chard. Oh, nice and big the leaves are. Sort of tip I want to leave with you today is the more tough stuff like the bodi. Well, first of all, we'll trim off the stems. That's going to go into the compost. The more tough stuff, which will take longer to cook, we'll cut it smaller. So I'm cutting it into 1 centimeter pieces. The same with the Swiss chard. This is the stem. I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. There's a bit of tarnishing there that I really don't want. And what I'm going to do is run my knife down the center and then cut it up into small pieces. The other tough one will be the stems of the kale. So what I like doing is I pull back all the sort of green parts, and I'm trying not to waste too much. All this stuff is good, so I'm just going to set the green parts aside for a second. This is the stem, and this one you want to cut just a little bit smaller because it can be a bit tough. So this one I'm doing 1/2 centimeter. Whereas the okra goes, we're going to take off the top stem part that goes into the rubbish. We'll take off the little thin part there, and we're going to just cut it into wheels. Now, if okra is not your thing, by all means you can leave it out, but it does add a nice little flavor and texture and everything else, and it's packed with all that good stuff in there. Yeah, so try to get accustomed to using okra. All right. Oh, this one is a bit too tough, so I'm not going to use this one. You notice? Listen to this. That means it's a bit too fibrous. I'm going to toss that one aside. As far as the peppers go, these are not all that spicy. And to be honest with you, I like spicy. So if spicy is not your thing, don't use them. But all I'm doing is giving that a chop as well too. This Swiss chard, all I want to do is roll it up and just give that a chop. And you can cut it to the size, any size you like. I'm just going to give it like a 1 centimeter ribbon. So you see the ribbons that we got there. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to hit it another couple chops, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing for the kale. What I did was I have the kale in a ball, and I'm just giving it a chop like so, and then across. I've got my wok on a medium flame. I want 1.5 tablespoons. I'm using olive oil because that is the oil I have, and I like using olive oil in everything I cook. A lot of people tell you stir fry, you'll use vegetable oil. Totally up to you. Nice warm wok. Let's just move that around a bit. And we're going to go in with onion. And I've got the bodi to go in there, along with the Swiss chard stems and the kale stems. And to help build on that flavor, I got some ginger, with some grated ginger, and that's going to give it a peppery element as well, so be mindful of that, as well as 1 clove of garlic, and that is garlic I harvested from my garden as well. So you notice how many things from my garden. You know, that's the beauty about having that garden there. I know where most of the ingredients came from, and I know how I planted, how I grew it without any sort of chemicals and all those harmful things. So it's real niceness here in this pot, yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of sesame oil, and I know a lot of people use it more in the end, but I like using it here because what happens is it flavors everything nicely. Now, I am very, very cautious in how much I use because it's one of the things I find to be very powerful. So if you like it, you can add it. If you don't like it, no big deal. You can leave it out at this point. 3 minutes later, and I'm going to go in with the okra, as well as the peppers that you saw me cut up there. I'm going to give that another turn. Now the trick with fried rice, and you know, any video you watch online, it tells you the same thing, and if you've made fried rice, you know that is, you really want that rice to be chilled. So if it's rice you steamed or cooked today, put it on a sheet pan and let it cool down, or put it in the fridge. Let that cool down for a bit. It'll give you more grainy, more shelly, a much better fried rice. Now here's one of the areas where you get to control your fried rice. If you don't like your vegetables overcooked, here's where now, it's been about 4 minutes, we're gonna add all the greenery to the pot, because we're trying not to over, if you want that nice little crunch on everything, we're trying to get it done quickly. Oy. Basically, we want that just to wilt down, so it won't take too long. And it may seem like a lot at this point, but it will wilt down. As that excitement happens in the pot there, some more ingredients. I've got a dash of, about a tablespoon and a half of Chinese cooking wine, a bit of Hoisin sauce, a bit of, we got dark soy sauce, and we've got light soy sauce. Full list of ingredients will be listed down below. All we want to do now is give that a good mix, because it's going to pull all those flavors into the vegetables. And that is what we want. We want to highlight the vegetables along with those lovely ingredients that we so love in the Caribbean, that hoisin and soy sauce and everything else. That ginger and garlic, boy. Just pure niceness in here, yeah? And I've maintained that medium-high heat throughout the cooking process here. It's been about 3 minutes since I added the greens. Everything has wilted down nicely. Now it's time to go in with all of that cooked rice. Just gonna break that up. Yeah, my hand clean, don't worry about that. Plus I eat things because my belly is going into, so don't study that. Now the reminder was, remember that rice is chilled. So all we're doing now is warming that through, giving everything a good mix. And we're pretty much done. That rice was cooked with salt, so you're probably gonna wanna cook your rice with salt. The other thing is, you'll notice we use 2 different types of soy sauce in there. And those will be heavy with the sodium as well too, so I will not add any salt to this fried rice. This is going to be what our Uncle Chris wanted, but you can adjust it accordingly. The other thing is, if you want this darker, you'll have to put a bit more dark soy sauce in there, but for me this is perfect. I'm just going to allow this to warm through now on that medium-high heat, and your boy eating like a champ. We've got lunch for 2, a nice little garden, aka vegetable fried rice. No, Uncle Chris, do not put eggs in his fried rice. That will not make it vegetable. Eggs is for breakfast and making ice cream. Gosh, how many times you have to go through that, people? Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them bots will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. Christy at CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. My vegan, vegetarian / garden fried rice. Yeah, read the label on that hoisin sauce. I have a feeling it's not vegan. Anyhow, you want to give this one a try, alright? They're all nice. They're all best. Look at that niceness now. It's all from the garden. Boy, Chris, you really get on here, sir.